I'm trying to platinum Cuphead as fast as I can. Now the guide says this should take me about 30 hours, but I like a challenge, so let's aim for 2 hours instead. Now before we begin the run, let's go over some basic rules and the trophies, of course. There are 29 trophies to collect, including the sweet platinum trophy. To achieve said trophies, we need to complete the game twice, first on normal and the second time on expert. The trophies are not that challenging while looking at them at first. The real challenge lies in the game itself. My first rule is no game breaking glitches, like for example playing on an older patch where you can basically shoot weapons twice as fast than the intended way. For the second rule, the timer begins when I earn my first trophy and ends with the platinum. That's about it, so let's stop yapping and get to it then. The first thing we do is play the tutorial. That's because we need to collect the coin at the end so we can buy our weapons we will use for the entire run, and also because there is a trophy for collecting all 40 coins in the game. We head over the bridge, but right before crossing it, we want to speak with the Apple Man so he can give us 3 coins we will be using for the weapons I just mentioned. We then head over to our first level, which is a run and gun level where we have to get across the whole level without dying. This can be achieved and is also required of us for the pacifist trophy to complete every run and gun level without killing any enemies. For now though, we don't have to worry about that, since our main goal here is to collect every coin and finish the level. However, after completing the run and gun level, a new bridge spawns that helps us cross the river. But before we cross it, we must not forget about buying our 2 main weapons, Spreadshot and Lobber. Crossing the bridge takes us to our first mausoleum where our objective is to parry every ghost before they reach the chalice in the middle. Since we do a lot of parrying here, we also pop our first trophy for parrying 20 different times, which also means the timer starts now, so we better lock in. We equip the newly acquired super and head over to the DLC island, where we get our new playable character, Miss Chalice. She is extremely OP, and that is exactly why we are here. After the Miss Chalice tutorial, where we scoop up a coin, we head over to talk to the cat over at the bridge, another 3 coins. These 4 extra coins help us buy our final main weapon, the Crackshot. We are pretty much done here on this island, and we won't be seeing it again this run. If you would like me to do this type of video for the DLC, let me know in the comments below. Back to it though, we head over to the run and gun level again, but now without killing anything. Not that hard of a level, the only notable part is jumping over the nut spawner, which we have to get over without destroying. Somehow, I always seem to miss the timing and get hit, which is unfortunate, but whatever. After crossing the finish line with 1 HP remaining, we earn ourselves the first pacifist rank for making it to the end without a single casualty. Next up, we have our first proper boss fight, the Veggies. Definitely the easiest boss in the entire game in my opinion, but that's to be expected since it's basically the first boss in the game we can fight. Here we will also be going for 3 trophies at once. Perfect Run for not getting hit throughout the fight, Porcelain Power for taking out the boss with a super art that we got from the mausoleum, and Taking Names for defeating our first boss. For the first phase, we want to stay as close as we can and jump over the flying potatoes he spits at us. The fourth is a worm though, which we can parry, so there's a free super meter for us. Before the second phase even begins, we want to stack up the Lobber shots, since when the onion bursts from the ground, it takes 1 billion damage for free. Now, for the last phase, we want to start counting as soon as the carrot appears. We just want to apply as much damage as possible until we count to 16 seconds, and after that, blast his ass with the stacked super art and finish him off. Everything went according to plan, so that means we earned the 3 mentioned trophies without problem. We head over to the Twin Frogs, where the first phase is very simple. The only attacks they can throw at you are either the fireflies, which are completely useless basically, or the spinning hand attack, which is definitely harder to dodge but nothing too crazy. During this attack, we also want to focus on the pink hands, since anything with the color pink in this game is parryable, granting us a supercharge if we are successful with our parries. Next phase, after a totally necessary roll by our frog brother here, he starts casting these balls that we have to dodge while also getting blowed at from the right side by the other bro. After dealing with that, they transform into a slot machine, predicting the state of gaming in 2025. Our job is to hit the lever to activate the damage window, while the machine chooses one of 3 attacks. We get the bull first, where our mission is to go over or under the flying discs, depending on where the flame comes from. The next attack we get is the tiger. This is probably the most annoying attack out of the 3, just because it is slightly harder to keep up the damage on the boss, since we have to keep moving back and forth just to dodge it. And for the last one, the frog attack, the easiest out of the bunch, since we just need to keep jumping from disc to disc, and after a short while, that will be it for this boss. Next, we head over to Goopy, where we want to equip the pea shooter, another easy boss that just jumps around the arena without providing much of a threat to us. Although he sometimes decides to punch us for no reason, not like we are actively killing him or whatever, but we just need to crouch for him to miss. He doesn't have the best aim, let's just say that. For the second phase, he transforms into a larger version of him, but keeps the same attacks. Again, very simple. Now for his last phase, he literally dies, but puts up one last fight fight as the tombstone. Now here comes the reason why we equip the pea-shooter beforehand. Our objective here is to kill him with the EX shot for another trophy. By the wording of the trophy, I think it might be bugged since it doesn't state that it has to be an EX move from the pea-shooter. But for me, it never worked with any other weapon. So yeah, another boss done and another trophy acquired. Heading over to the upper part of the aisle, we visit a quick plain tutorial for the next level. But of course, we skip it since we are a pro gamer and don't need no tutorial. For the next level, we select the simple difficulty, and that is because we are going to be getting the most annoying trophy in this whole game. That trophy is Bravo Zulu P26. This trophy requires us to choose a single plane level and complete it with a smaller plane version. You see, when piloting the plane, you can shrink yourself, which basically functions as a dodge. Your plane deals significantly less damage and you have a tiny projectile range. This trophy is really annoying since it can take you upwards of 3 minutes, which in this game is a lot of time to be surviving. Anyways, let's do it. This is Hilda and she is a real annoyance. Her only attack in the first phase is her laughing projectile, which is easy to dodge, but since we only have a tiny range in our tiny ass plane, we have to stay close. Real close, to be able to deal damage to her. After we get above the damage threshold, Hilda here transforms into a Taurus, which only has one attack, and that is a dash forward that is easy to dodge. After we kill him, she transforms back into her basic form, but now also gaining a new move, that being a tornado that she can send out after us. Again, dealing enough damage makes her transform into a different form. Now she chooses to be the Gemini, which is my personal sign, if you even care. The Gemini's attack is a spinning fiery ball that spins around while shooting projectiles. This attack is a little bit more tricky than the rest since it's very random and can start shooting at your position immediately, leaving you with little to no reaction window for dodging it. After we deal with the Gemini form, she transforms back for the final time and we can start chipping her little by little until she's dead. That's gonna be another trophy for us. Before we move on to the next level, we must not forget to beat her again, this time on the normal difficulty. The strats are the same and the boss is definitely more easier, I think. Unfortunately, I get a little bit cocky and stop paying attention, earning my first death of the run. The only difference is that she gains a new phase where she turns into a moon. Our objective is to dodge the flying stars and UFO beams that she sends out. There are two types of UFOs, one that activates before you pass and the second one that activates after you pass. Let's move on to the next running gun level. Just like the previous running gun level, we have to get through it without killing a single enemy and grabbing every coin available. Right as we start, we want to move as fast as we can so we can get a nice enemy cycle. Getting through the bugs rolling down is our biggest threat here. There are also these woodpeckers that stand in our way that we have to wait out. I get hit here and just start pushing through because I don't even care at this point. We then have to ascend the tree we are currently in, and oh boy, this part kinda sucks. I miraculously don't get hit here, but these flying beetles, I guess, are like hired assassins since their tracking is top tier at times. Anyways, back to it. After we ascended the tree, we now have to get across these leaves that are supported by these guys, which I owe my thanks to for helping out. And right at the end, skipping this large enemy completes this level. Moving over to the last fight on this aisle, we have Mr. Flower. Besides these sick ass moves, Mr. Flower here has pretty tough to dodge moves. First, he has his rattling move, where he shoots seeds into the air that upon landing spawn a chasing Pac-Man at us. His other notable attack is when he sends out projectiles after us. There are two types of projectiles he can alter between: seeds in packs of 3 and whatever this thing is. After we activate his second phase, Mr. Flower gets pissed and corrupts our floating platforms we stand on at random. While doing that, he also shoots another type of projectiles which are easier to dodge. The second phase is probably easier than the first, so once we get here, it should be no problem finishing the fight. We also earn another trophy for killing every boss in aisle 1. 2 more aisles to go now. Though, before we head out to the next aisle, we have to grab the hidden coin besides our fellow standing here. New aisle, which means new bosses for us. Right off the bat, we head straight to Beppy the Clown. This fight gave me a lot of issues when practicing this run, but now he is a piece of cake for me. In the first phase, we have to keep dodging his mass driving skills and also keep an eye on the flying ducks that can spawn on the upper side of the screen. After he crashes his Honda Civic, he transforms into a balloon. He begins to spawn these balloon dogs that go after us in a straight line, so nothing too fancy. There is also a roller coaster going around we have to keep in mind so we don't get run over. Dealing enough damage, we meet his third phase, where he sits on a pony that shoots horseshoes at us. This is the phase that gave me a lot of trouble, but I'm a better player now, so everything is good. Now for the final phase, we want to stack up the lobber shots again, before anything else. We also want to get off as many EX moves as we can, since this is the perfect spot for us to do so, maximizing our damage. As soon as the roller coaster comes around, we want to jump on these platforms and again perform EX moves if we have any left over. He then summons these attacking penguins, but before they are even able to shoot at me, we manage to take him down, and that will be it for this boss for now. See you in the expert run, Beppy. Next up, we have another plane level. This time we are going to be fighting the guy from Aladdin. First first phase, he spawns a chest for us that contains a few cat statues that release homing cats at us that we have to dodge. This phase is really quick, but I'm pretty sure that this boss has the most amount of phases in the entire game, so don't get too lazy. Next phase, we play a little bit of Flappy Bird while also dodging these spinning blades. You don't want to get hit here since it's pretty primitive of a phase in terms of difficulty. Next phase, he transforms into this space alien, I guess you can call it. This phase can be a little tricky while dodging all the projectiles he shoots, but nothing we can't handle. Staying real close to the left side of the screen is the best strat I found for this phase. After that, the genie gets a great idea and transforms into us? Lil bro forgot he is not him, aka us, and we get rid of him quite fast. Although he managed to squeeze in a hit on me, but let's just ignore that after I slander him like this. Thank you. The last phase includes the genie's big ass head, while also sending Illuminati for us. Yeah, this fight is kinda crazy. The Illuminati can shoot laser beams that are quite hard to dodge if you notice them too late. The genie himself also shoots a beam that is real slow, so that is not an issue for us. We managed to take the dub under 2 minutes, which for me is like a good indicator that we are going fast enough to reach our 2-hour mark. After that, we head over to Bon Bon. She is unique in the fact that the first 3 phases of the fight are these mini bosses that differ from each other completely. The bosses she spawns are random each run, so there is no guarantee. The first boss we get is the Candy Machine. This boss is definitely the easiest one since he basically does nothing. Next up, we face the other side of the coin, the hardest boss she can spawn. I don't think I have ever completed this fight without taking damage on this muffin guy for some reason. And all he does is jump around and that's basically it. Next up we face the Gumball, just floating around chasing us. We make quick work of him and make it the last phase, where Bon Bon finally has enough and takes the matter into her own heads. No, not hands, literal heads. She also sends out a massive candy that rolls, so we must jump over it once in a while. That will be another boss done, just under 30 minutes into the run. Now, we have to do a little bit of walking before facing another boss. First, we talk to the Canteen Hughes, since we want to unlock the ability to shoot bombs while we are controlling a plane for the next fight. Next, we buy a Heart Charm. We actually don't need to do this right now, but I kinda forgot to take it off the notes that I made, so bear with me here. And then we enter our second mausoleum. Again, mausoleum is a place where you need to parry every enemy to succeed. The only difference between this one and the first one is the added ghost enemy that spins around reaching the middle of the screen slowly. We want to equip the super we just received right away since we will be using it the next running gun level. Before we head out too far into the level, we want to parry a specific pink balloon 5 times in a row for a trophy. I get hit here, which is unfortunate. That means the last stretch of the level we will have to play perfectly to not die and lose a bunch of time. I was tempted to restart, but I kinda just winged it and went on. We pick up a coin and move over to the section where we use our newly acquired super. This super grants us an additional heart container, which we use immediately to get across this circus boys. Now for the last section, we must get a hit from this guy since there is no legit way to get through him without taking damage. Now this part really makes me nervous. I have only 1 HP left and the hardest section is ahead of me. The invincible roll comes in clutch, making me the Neo from Matrix. After reaching the end, all we have to do is jump over him and we're good. Doing this first try feels nice. Now next up is the worst plane boss in the entire game in my opinion. As soon as we start, you can already tell that this guy is pissed. His first phase has 2 attacks. Firstly, we have the 3-way handgun. No, like actual hand gun. And for the second attack, he shoots these eggshells which are unnecessarily large and very hard to dodge. I get hit here almost every run, but our main focus should be on these horizontally flying birds since we can always parry the last chick in the pack and get some EX moves. We want to reach the full bar so we can blast him with the super art and start the next phase immediately. Which is actually really simple. All we need to do is dodge his flying feathers when he starts twirling around by moving up and down. After that we face off his little body I guess, where our objective is to stay close to him and then stay far away depending on the position of eggs that orbit around him. He can also shoot at us, but that is no issue since the attacks are parryable. Now the last phase is the reason we talked to the canteen earlier to acquire the bombs, since we will be actively using them to destroy the boss that is floating under us, a position where our regular shots can't reach him. In this phase we also have to keep an eye out for the million different projectiles flying at us as you can see. I scraped by with only 1 HP remaining. Right now I'm really glad that I died only once during this run and the 2-hour mark is still reachable, but we still have a long road to go, so let's focus up. To reach the upcoming boss we will be using the shortcut behind this mountain, which rewards us with yet another trophy. There are more instances where you can pop this trophy, but I chose this spot right here since it's very convenient. Next up we fight Grim Matchstick, a big ass dragon. As soon as we spawn, he starts shooting at us without even talking to us beforehand. He will also shoot fireballs at us, which are extremely telegraphed, while trying to poke us with his tail from the bottom of the screen. We move to the next phase quickly, but not before jumping right into him for literally no reason. Talk about an easy boss phase because oh my god, I don't don't even know how you can get hit here. Laughing at him didn't get us far, since the next attack he pulls out is his fireball, which we have to be careful not to break, because if we do, the shot gets split 4 ways, making it harder to dodge. We also have to be careful about his pyro attack. We only get hit once here before we succeed in killing him. Before we move on to the last level on this isle, we pick up a coin from the girl next to the bridge. She is thankful for us since we built it by defeating various bosses on this island. We also want to stop by the juggler, who rewards us with another coin for parrying the balloon 5 times in a row earlier. We head over to the last run and gun level on this isle. I hate this level. Somehow, I managed to beat it without dying, which is honestly a miracle for me. I can't even fathom the most optimal route since it seems so random to me. Good thing I'm not a professional speedrunner. Anyway, another P-rank in the bag for us boys. Before moving on to the next isle, we also can't forget this cheeky coin hiding behind a caravan, since we still need to collect all of them for a trophy. Entering the last isle of the main game, the first boss we face is the Bee Queen. Before we get to fight her, we first have to get rid of the police officer responding to her infiltration. He doesn't do much besides activating a time bomb that shoots in random directions. Now we can face the queen that chooses to attack us with rockets that move from the bottom to the top in a zigzag pattern. She also casts the slowest moving projectile I've ever seen, so nothing too fancy here. Right before the last phase of the fight, she takes her time to transition into a plane, giving us plenty of time to use our EX moves and deal massive damage. After like 3 seconds of the last phase, we managed to beat her, earning us a trophy we don't care about in this video since it's from the DLC. What a way to get your hopes up, huh? Wasting no time, we head over to the pirate. These types of bosses are the reason we pick up the crackshot at the beginning of the game. Aside from that, we have a barrel at the top going back and forth, dropping down only when we cross under it, giving us another obstacle we have to care about. The pirate himself uses a squid to shoot pearls at us. These pearls are a great source of EX moves since they are easily parryable. He can also call up a shark, squid, and also dogs, which we don't get to see here. In the meantime, his ship gets real angry and decides to take matter into its own hands. For this phase, I use a neat little trick I found, where all you need to do is crouch right at this spot and wait for the ship to make a move. After you see a telegraphed attack, we want to roll, granting us invincibility frames. This phase can go on for quite a while, but nothing we can't handle. For the next level, we have another run and gun time. This is the second to last run and gun level we have to earn the Pacific rank on, so that means we are reaching the end here. We make our way downstairs, grabbing all the available coins before reaching this lobster guy. We want to be fast here while he is not in the way, making this run through very straightforward. This level is not so bad apart from the last portion where we have to stand on this octopus while dodging these flying shrimps and projectiles from the back. It can be really chaotic in this part, but since I practiced this run and gun level so hard, nothing can surprise me anymore. Heading over to another plain boss fight, we face off the mermaid, Carla Maria. She likes to combo her attacks a lot. There are many deadly combinations that can catch us off guard, like for example this pufferfish and ghost combination. Very hard to not get hit here sometimes. To transform into her second phase, she gets electrocuted by her buddies here. The 2 attacks she can cast here are the petrifying stare, stunning us for a brief moment, and the barrage of projectiles shot by her mentioned buddies. You can also get hit by a nasty combination like right here, where before you are able to dodge you get petrified. Not much you can do here. Moving on to her last phase, we use a little cheese strategy by getting real close to her, almost too close. The only part that can damage us in this spot are these spiky walls. We have to react quick, otherwise we get tagged, which is not ideal. After we deal with her, we grab ourselves another hidden coin before moving over to Sally. In her first phase, Sally likes to jump around quite a bit. She can also mix it up, and instead of landing on us, she throws a fan on the ground, serving as an obstacle. She also shows her love and appreciation for us by blowing us a kiss that we simply parry. No time for love, we are speedrunning here, bitch. Next phase the same thing. The only difference is that she gains a new attack with toy cars, and also there is this annoying baby in the background dropping bottles on us as if that was legal in any shape or form. In the next phase, Sally becomes stationary, making her very easy to shoot. The only attacks she has is the big wave and the lightning strikes, both easy in terms of dodging. For the last phase, Sally becomes an angel. She has really low health now, making this phase extremely short compared to the others. All we have to really care about is the umbrella spinning on the ground, and we should be good. Before us stands the last mausoleum of the game we have to beat. Another simple parry puzzle with a new addition in form of a daddy ghost that spawns 2 additional normal ghosts. This enemy makes up for some delicious parry combos, so he gets an approval in my book. After we stand victorious, we earn the trophy for beating every mausoleum there is. Next in the line is Tom and Jerry. First we face off against Jerry, who has a cannon and a catapult in his arsenal, making him the strongest medieval warrior in the game. He can also occasionally charge at us full speed, where you have to dodge by parrying these platforms on the ground. My brother here decides to blow himself up before trying to cook us alive, which we protest by moving up and down the platform platform depending on his position. There are also these blades on the side, making for some tight spaces we have to squeeze through to not get hit. Big boss Tom appears and eats Jerry. Tom is not as skilled as Jerry in this game, making his phase really easy. We just need to do simple dodging and the fight is over. What the f... We have the last running gun level before us. After just a few seconds of running, I get tagged and decide to restart the level. Making our way through the level, there are going to be these mud enemies spawning we have to jump over while also dodging the fireballs fired at us by these small cute dragons. We also have to be really careful here not to miss this coin over here, since we can't go back and get it if we miss it on our descent, making us reset the whole level, losing about 25 seconds. Next section is really easy with Miss Chalice. All we have to do is dash over these walls and again the cat statue while simultaneously not getting hit by these enemies running around the place. The last section is a chase scene where we run from a cyclop. There is a cool strategy you can implement if you remember the whole layout of the platforms you have to jump on, where you can be faster than the screen following you, making it to the end faster. I will not be attempting this since taking it safely will do us just fine. After we reach the end, we get granted 2 trophies at once, one for collecting all the available coins in the running gun levels and one for reaching the P ranks on all of them. Making our way to the last playing level in the game, we face off Dr. Carl, one of the hardest bosses in the game. Good thing we have a strategy prepared. As soon as the fight starts, we want to destroy the robot's opening on his stomach. We truly don't want to get hit here. Secondly, we want to get rid of his middle part. And lastly, the top part. As soon as we do that, the robot exposes his heart, which we have to keep shooting. After a little while, the robot explodes, but not before we use this cool strategy, skipping his short but really annoying second phase. Now for the last phase that takes about 1 million years to complete, our objective is to slide between all of these projectiles. There is almost no space between them, so we have to be super precise. We do that basically the whole game, but you know. The last boss we face before entering the casino is a train. Very intimidating, I know. But don't get fooled because this boss is actually really tough. For the first phase, we want to equip the spread shot and shoot constantly. Our target here are his bouncy eyes we want to get rid of before they even have a chance to hit us. Throughout the whole fight, we also have to keep shooting down the flying pumpkin, which can move our cart we are standing on, misplacing us against our will in the fight. Next phase, we have this skeleton dude who will try to squish us with his arms. All we have to do is position ourselves below him, granting us free spread shot damage. Next up, we have the 2, I don't even know what they are. We want to take one down as soon as possible. We achieve this by spamming some EX shots right at its face. We then make quick work of his body here and on to the next phase. The last phase of the boss fight we take on the train's engine. We have to keep opening it up by parrying its tail when we are able to. After we open it up, we can deal damage to it. We also have to be careful about sparks and bones that fly towards us randomly, making it quite chaotic at times. After defeating him, we also earn ourselves a trophy for defeating every boss on aisle 3. Last but not least, the casino, where the devil resides. The first thing we want to do here is grab the last coin in the entire game tucked away in this spot. By doing so, we earn another trophy. The last 2 bosses of the game stand before us. The first one is King Dice, the devil's assistant with a beautiful mustache. This boss right here is the most unique fight we will have to face, since before we even get to fight him, we have to make it through several challenges he prepared for us. The nice thing here is the fact that we can choose the challenges ourselves by spinning the dice in the middle. We want to enter 2, 4, 8, since these bosses are the easiest, at least for me. The first boss is the stack of poker chips that move from one side to the other. Downing him is no issue since we're a professional by this point. Next up is the domino, another basic projectile boss, nothing too fancy. Bosses like this are the reason why Spreadshot is the king. The last mini boss we fight is the 8 ball, which is conveniently on the 8th spot. Genius game design, Miyazaki did it again. This mini boss is arguably the easiest boss in the game, even easier than the veggies, and that's because he literally doesn't do anything. Once in a while he manages to get a shot off, but come on bro, we've been here for an hour. You have to be more prepared next time. Now finally, the big man. Sending out poker cards is his only move. Our job is to jump between them by parrying and constantly shooting. Spreadshot EX moves are really nice here since they always hit for full damage. After only 2 cycles, we managed to defeat him and earn another 2 trophies. One for simply defeating him and another one for not taking a single hit throughout the fight. But Geppetto, I just saw you get shit on at the end. How is that possible? Well, you see my son, first of all I had a super art going on which mitigates all damage basically. But more importantly, this trophy description is capped, since all you have to do to earn it is simply having 3 or more HP at the end of the fight. Very misleading, but what can you do? At least it makes it easier for us. Finally, we are able to face the devil. The whole reason why we are going around taking everyone's soul contracts. The big bad boss. The first move he pulls are these little flames that manage to tag me right off the bat. I contemplate restarting, but at the end I decide to risk it since 3 HP should be plenty enough. After cosplaying as the Chinese dragon, he decides to become the goat and clap us. We easily jump over him, so not quite sure what his plan was. A move later he takes off his skin and jumps into to this pit. In this phase, our goal is to focus his big ass eyes. EX shots deal massive damage here. Do you know what else is massive? These purple enemies he spawns, which I always take down at least one, since I find them very annoying. After we deal enough damage, the final phase begins. The devil breaks down and starts crying. We really don't care though, so we finish the fight 5 seconds later, earning another 2 trophies. One for defeating him, and the second one for earning at least A rank on the bosses in the casino. We will have to get an A or above for every boss in the game, but I didn't even mention it till now since it's easily doable in our second playthrough of the game. After the credits roll, we get another trophy for completing the game on the normal difficulty. No time to waste, we boot up our save again and submit to the devil, activating the bad ending of the game. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to beat the whole game again, but now on expert difficulty. In this difficulty, bosses have larger health pools and sometimes even acquire new moves. I don't want to make this video repetitive by going over every boss again, so instead I will only point out key sections where I have something to say or something noteworthy happens. I will also give each boss a rating from 1, which means the easiest, to 5, which means the hardest, based on their difficulty, so you know which bosses to look out for when completing this amazing platinum for yourself. Looking at the timer, we only have about an hour left, so shut up and let's go! First up, we have the devil for the 3rd time. He is rather difficult, but only for the last 2 phases. As the first boss on our list, I'll give him a 3. King dies. Very long fight, but not that difficult. He goes in the number 2. Phantom Express, this fight is very tough for me. The last phase in particular is extremely chaotic, making me put this boss in number 4. Sally isn't really challenging. The only part that can screw you over is the baby and overall attack RNG. I managed to die by being greedy here. I also managed to claim a trophy for reaching A rank or above for every boss in aisle 3. Sally goes in number 3. Dr. Carl is our next fight on the list, and oh my god, this boss is really hard. He may be my most practiced fight in the entire game. I reset on the beginning once, and after a hero clutch where I beat the whole phase 3 on 1 HP, I managed to scrape by with the win. Definitely number 5 in my opinion. Taking a break from all the bosses, we stop by the shop where we buy every available gun and charm from the base game. I go extremely slowly here so I don't mess up and buy the wrong gun, since that would mean I would have to travel to the DLC island and beat a level or 2, which I definitely want to avoid since that would cost me about 5 minutes. Another plain boss, Carla. I die once here, so what can you do? The RNG here can be deadly, which forces me to put it in the number 3 spot. Next up we have the Pirate, probably the easiest boss on aisle 3. I managed to earn an S rank, which you can achieve by doing every side objective displayed on the screen right now during the fight, giving us another trophy. Number 2 for you. Tom and Jerry's second phase gives me a lot of trouble. I know the strat well, but I just can't seem to perform. Good thing the last phase is easy. Number 2. Last boss on this isle we have the Bee Queen. Very easy boss. Hesitant to put it in the number 1 spot, but that will be too misleading, so sticking with it another number 2. On to the second island. Our first fight is against the dragon. Not much going on for half of the fight, but man, that last phase is tricky. Practicing for this fight is required if you want to make good time, since you can get stuck here pretty easily, I think. Number 3. Worst boss in the entire game for me is ahead of us. Wally Warbles, I hate you. The dodge windows are extremely tight in this fight. The second and third phase aren't that bad, but the fourth one is insane sometimes. I die here once, causing me to lose 2 minutes, so I'm stressing out here. Definitely number 5. Bone doesn't change much on expert. She is not challenging, but no walk in the park either. I barely made it with only 1 HP this run, but I still think she deserves the number 2 spot. Next up, my favorite boss in terms of aesthetic, the Genie. I die here once losing about a minute, which sucks, but I feel pretty confident I can make time here since every boss on aisle 1 is a cake. At least I thought so. I'll give the Genie a 2. Yeah, I know. A lot of bosses are in the number 2, but hey, that's how I feel, I guess. For the last boss on aisle 2 we have Beppy the Clown. My perception of this boss has changed quite a lot because he used to give me a lot of trouble, but now that I have practiced him for over 50 tries if not more, I think he's not that scary. Out of respect, I will still put him in the number 3 category. Back at aisle 1 with only 15 minutes remaining, we face off against Flower Guy. I reset once here since I take 2 damage very early on and don't want to take the risk. His moves are the same as previously. The Flower Man gets a 2. Next up we have Hilda. Yeah, I don't know why this boss is so difficult for me. I practiced it many times but still end up dying in this run to her. I don't even want to talk about this boss any longer, so let's just move on by putting her in number 4. With 10 minutes remaining, we make our way to the Gumball Dude, who is really simple. He is one of the first starting bosses, so that's to be expected. Even though I finished the fight with only 1 HP since I was stressing about the time, I would still put him in number 1. Second to last boss are the Veggies, another easy boss. I fully know that if I don't choke the last 2 bosses, my goal of 2 hours will be achieved, going in number 1. Finally, the last boss of the run, another easy boss, we just have to oh my. Anyways, all we have to do is make it through these 3 final phases and we are done. Everything went smoothly as expected again. Okay, stop messing around and let's end it. Everything goes smoothly as expected. I have a suspicion that even the game wanted me to succeed since it gave me the easiest cycle on the last phase, which are these frogs, where you just jump around from one platform to another one. Short shortly after we can stop our time while popping the last 2 trophies for beating the game on Expert, and again reaching an A rank or above on all bosses on Isle 1. And finally marking the end of our almost 2-hour journey with a shiny Platinum trophy. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I heavily enjoy Cuphead and I definitely recommend you to try it out for yourself, if you are one of the 5 people who didn't already. If you enjoy this type of speedrun content, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more, and maybe leave a comment saying what you liked or didn't like. Have a good rest of your day and see you next time.